Today is the day. Today, I am announcing the winners for my shoujo event and doing a breakdown of how every round went. Hello friends, happy Friday. So excited that you're here, so excited for this video. It is going to be awesome. Like I said, I'm breaking down how the shoujo manga or Laura's read and review shoujo spree, how all of the voting went, what went, who the winner is of the giveaway, and ultimately what manga I am going to be reading next month. I am very excited. It is going to be so much fun covering all of this today. I have been eagerly looking forward to it. I'm going to be sharing like a presentation that has the graphs, has a bunch of images and stuff. So I don't have anything actually announcing who the giveaway winner is in that. So I'm going to go over to another video right now and show who won and announce the winner. All right, here we go. We're going to select a giveaway winner. There were so many entries. Let's go ahead, click that wheel and see who is going to be winning the giveaway prize of QQ Sweeper, some Snowy the Red Hair merch, and a My Happy Marriage sticker. Congrats, Tsukiyoshi Tomiko! You are the winner of the shoujo prize. Be sure to send me your address via email. I have that down below. And many congrats! Again, be sure to contact me, email me, so I can get your address and send you your prize. Many congrats. And don't worry, friends, there will be more giveaways coming up in the future. Are you guys ready to dive in and see the results? So this time, I announced in the video of that I didn't want to share what my personal picks were, what I was hoping was going to win. And I will say now that I was hoping Love That's an Understatement, Library Wars, and Fiancé Chosen by the Ring. I didn't have any of those win, unfortunately. But I'm very proud of how one of them specifically did, and I'm very proud of myself that I didn't ask friends like, hey, can you go vote for this manga because it's in the third round? Guys, I was so tempted. I was like, that would basically be like, I don't know, I didn't feel right about doing that with my own poll, so I did not do that. So all the votes here are as what any person chose, and we will go ahead and jump right in. To start off, there were 30 manga series that were up for voting that people could choose from. You can see the whole entire list, or I guess you'd say images of here of the covers of what was going up for voting. I forgot to see what my predictions were, but I think I was 2 out of 3 right, or 1 out of 3. I know I was right for one of them, or yeah, I was right, I guess for 2 of them. Anyway, doesn't matter. But here are the 30. There were so many different titles. I was actually really surprised by how many digital-only titles we had. We had a few out of stock / out of print series, and a couple of newer ones that I feel like are really underrated. For example, the Demon's Housekeeper, his Demon King's Majesty Housekeeper, something along those lines. That is a newer series that I really don't know many people are actually reading that, so I was happy to see that one. Same as Fiancé Chosen by the Ring, though I do know more people who are reading that series, but there was, again, so much that took place. And for this first round, only the top 16 most voted manga went ahead. Now, I'm going to warn right now, for those that are interested in this next image that I'm going to share, I am putting a bar graph here of all the votes for all the series for those who are interested. I'm going to warn right now, it's a little bit overwhelming. And here it is. As you can see, the entire list. I didn't do this last year, but for those that are curious, I did want to share what was going, how everything looked. And as you can see right now, right from the start, A Condition Called Love blew this voting away. I mean, right from the start, A Condition Called Love, it was first place right out the gate, and it held a lead of at least 10 votes or higher the entire time. There was never a moment A Condition Called Love was ever behind. And I will say there were 99 total votes for this first round, which was really exciting. I was surprised that early on that Ouran and Daytime Shooting Star were tied for second place very early on in the beginning. Lovecom was slowly working up through the ranks, as well as Sand Chronicles, and then when I came back the next day to check things, Ouran was still tied, but Dankin Daisy came up tied for second. I was not expecting that at all, but there have been quite a few people who have said, I really love Dankin Daisy, I'm very excited it's on here, and so I was ultimately very shocked how well Dankin Daisy honestly performed in this first round. I mean, it was up there with 34 votes. I'm not really sure like if it was in the top 6. I should have had a graph for that as well, showing what was like the highest to the lowest kind of thing, but that's okay. But Kakuryou, Rose of Versailles, Daytime Shooting Star, and Santa Chronicles were all up at the top most voted. They had a tie going for 3rd place. I believe that Oran dropped down just a little bit because of Dangan Daisy. And then day 3, 50% of the votes still going to Condition Called Love. Oran went back into 2nd place. Kakuryou went into 3rd, and I am still blown away that Kakuryou has been up there in the highest votes, and that is something we're going to continue to see through each and every one of these rounds. Also, Sand Chronicles, I was really surprised how well it did. Was in the top 5 for sure. And shout out to my Patrons, because that was actually a Patreon nominated pick for this year, because I invited the Patreon and channel members like, hey, is there any manga you'd like to see in this? I will include them, and that was one of them. So it's really cool to see how well it was doing and being in the top 10 for this first round. I was really surprised though that Cardcaptor Sakura, that it did not perform nearly as well as I thought it would, because if you remember before the actual event took place, for the whole month before, every Monday I had a new poll. I basically pulled manga from last year's event that didn't win and put them in, and people could vote which one they want to be back this year. Cardcaptor Sakura did really, really well in that early poll, and I did a special video for Patreon channel members sharing how that voting went down. If you're curious about that, I'll leave it linked in the corner, but only Patreon and channel members can see it. But it did super well. But Cardcaptor Sakura was barely hanging on in this voting, and very shocked by that. I mean, I know it says 27, so it wasn't in the lower part of things, but I was scared that it was not going to make it. I mean, some of those lower ones were within 1 to 3 votes of each other of making it into the top 16. Because I know Tokyo Mew Mew was doing really well, and it was competing with Cardcaptor Sakura of who was going to be in the top 16. And Fiancé Chosen by the Ring snuck in there as well. And I was surprised that His Majesty the Demon King's housekeeper, and Kare Kano, they tied for 20 votes. I was hoping that Kare Kano would make it to the next round, but moving on to seeing the covers, you can see here, these are the top 16 most voted manga that made it onto the next round. Fiancé of the Wizard, I am once again surprised how well this manga did, because it did really well. It was in the top 8 most voted manga last year's event, and it came back again. And here it is once again, going on to round 2. Was happy to see that Love Calm made it. Love That's an Understatement was very, very happy to see that it made it, as well as Library Wars and Fiancé Chosen by the Ring. And going to the graph, here is, if you see the light pink, those were the manga that did not make it to the next round. I was really shocked looking at this that Become You had the lowest amount of votes. I feel like, I forget the creator's name, but she's the creator of Orange. Somebody nominated any and all of her books, and I've read Orange. I have a review on this channel. Become You I have read, but I've never done a review. And then Dreaming Sun was also nominated. Neither one of them did really well, and I was just really, really surprised by that, to be honest. I guess because I feel like there's so much love for this creator, I really would have expected it to have done better and made it on. Love at 14, I was hoping this one would do really well. I actually had never heard of this manga until it got nominated, so I'm probably going to try and check that out from my library, because I'm just really, really curious. Same as Kare Kano, because I think our library has almost the entire series. My Boy in Blue and My Little Monster, well, actually I would have thought My Little Monster would have done better considering how it did in the pre-event polls, but My Boy in Blue, I'm shocked how well it did. I'm shocked how well it did. It had 25 votes, and that is a digital only manga, so I was pretty surprised. Sorry, I keep using that word over and over. You'll hear me say that often. Going on to round 2. Here are the top 16 most voted titles from round 1. In this round, the top 8 will move on to round 3 to be in the final round. Kitchen Princess was, I forgot to mention, in last year's event. It got nominated again. I was happy to see that was in here, because that's a series I keep meaning to read, and I still have not read to this day. For round 2, there were a total of 73 votes, and I could say I was very, very happy with the number of votes this year. I think the votes from, I forgot to check, but the votes from last year more than doubled this year, so I was really, really, really excited about that, because that was like one of my personal goals, and so I'm very happy about that. I have a lot more shoujo friends, or at least connect with more audiences that read shoujo, so I think that was what played a big factor into this year. Let's go on to the graph, and guys, let me just tell you, and I said it at the beginning, that I never know what could do really well in round 1 is no guarantee that it will be in round 3. For example, it may look like A Condition Called Love is winning, in which it did. It had 40 votes, so it did ultimately win. But let me tell you, Love That's an Understatement had 36 votes in the end, but it was first place for half of the week that this poll was live. Half of the time, it was in first place. In fact, I think Condition Called Love had some of the lower votes there for a little bit. Yeah, it was in third place the first day. I didn't get to closely monitor how the voting went for this one because of going out of town, like back and forth due to my car, or getting a new car, I should say. But I was still shocked that for that first day, Love That's an Understatement did win. But day two, when I woke up, A Condition Called Love, and by the end of the day, it pulled ahead at first and stayed in first place for the rest of the time. But I mean, as you can see, Love That's an Understatement, it came in second place, and I was so proud. I was so excited because I so desperately wanted this series to do well. Volume 4 just came out this past month. I need to go get it because I actually have not bought it yet. But third place with the highest votes was Sand Chronicles, coming at 31. And I was really excited that for fourth place was Library Wars. Library Wars did so well, and again, I'm just really, really proud and excited because I really wanted that series to win. It's on my TBR. I've already read it. It was the first manga that I ever read. I was hoping it would win, so I have an excuse to read it quicker than I've already planned because I plan to read it before the year ends. Now, with round 2, I was shocked how well Ron the Peerless Beauty performed. Did really, really well. Just squeaked in the 8 top most voted series and was just so shocked about this. I honestly didn't expect it to make it this far. Maybe that sounds really bad to say, but for it being a digital only series, I was just very, very caught off guard by that. But maybe because her other series, Gazing at the Star Next Door, has been in English and that we have that now, that maybe, I'm like, maybe that is making a huge difference and people are checking out. Plus, I know it is on K-Manga because I do have it marked on K-Manga to come back to and read. But Love Comp came in 6th place. Kakurio came in 7th place, which I felt was, since it did, I think, a little bit better in the first round, I didn't expect that one to make it this far either, especially since I don't know a lot of people who read this series. And like I showed with round 1, I'll do the same here with round 2. Here are the top 8 most voted series that are moving on to the final round. I am bummed that Fiancé Chosen by the Ring, that it did not make it, but hopefully at some point this year I can do a video review because I was technically, I think, supposed to do one during my 25 days of Shoujo Manga last December, but something came up and I didn't. I know I did a poll, it was like that and something else, but I think it was like the Young of the Dawn art book or something like that. And here's the graph I've seen comparing which series did and did not make it. Again, I was shocked with Dank Daisy having so many votes in round 1. I can't believe it did not make it to round 3. And that's why I said, Laura's like, don't put any holds in at the library until you make it to round 3. And it's already started because you just never know. Rosa Versailles and Dank Daisy both did really well in round 1. But unfortunately, neither one of them made it to the 3rd round, which was a bummer. I was surprised that Dawn of the Arcana didn't get as many votes this round because I feel like it did really well in the first round. Tokyo Mew Mew was so close. And I forgot to say, in round 1, I did forget to include A Kiss for Real and Shugo Chara, which both were part of the round 1 voting. I just didn't have enough space on that chart that I have with all the manga covers. I do apologize for not saying that sooner. But I was hoping that Shugo Chara, Cardcaptor Sakura, and Tokyo Mew Mew, that one of them would make it to the end. As you can see, the Cardcaptor Sakura did not perform as nearly as well in this one. I'm not really sure why it did not do better than like how I expected to for it being a beloved classic. And I don't know if I just don't know a lot of people who are Cardcaptor Sakura fans, or there was just other series that more people were excited for that got more votes. I really don't know. Hopefully next year I'll have another Magical Girl manga that's nominated because I did tell myself that I was like, I really want to read more. So I'm like, maybe later this year I'll have like a Magical Girl manga month and just review Magical Girl manga because that just sounds like a lot of fun to do. That just sounds fun. So here we are. We're on to the 3rd and final round. Here are the top 8 most voted series. If anybody would have told me at the beginning of this that I'm gonna have 2 digital only series on here, I'd be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. No, that ain't gonna happen. But here we are. Here we are. Sand Chronicles, I do believe that this was one of the series I felt would win this event because, you know, unfortunately of the manga's passing. I'm not surprised how well Sand Chronicles has won and people spreading that agenda to read this manga's work. And if I sob my eyes out if this wins, you guys owe me tissues. That's all I'm gonna say. Love Com, I am shocked to see how well this one has done as well. And Oran, I'm not surprised to see here because of how well it did in the pre-voting. But let's go ahead and see the chart and then I'll announce announce who the winners are, though you'll probably see just from looking at this chart that won. But I will just say right now, the voting for this round was so chaotic. I actually had to close this form 2 days early, and I was reading over my notes. For this round, there were 61 votes. I will just say, it was chaos, guys. It was complete chaos. So let me go back and see. I don't even remember how everything was. Okay, so for the first place, Sand Chronicles, Ron the Peerless Beauty, and Library Wars were all tied for first place. All of them were tied for first place for the longest time, like 2 days kind of tied. Like it just would not break. I was surprised though with Oron, Love That's an Understatement, Condition Called Love, having some of the highest votes beforehand, had the lowest votes in round 3 in the first half of the voting. I was not prepared for that. And Library Wars, I will say there was a brief time it did shoot to first place. And I was like, yes, I was overjoyed when I saw that. There just kept being more and more ties that were unfolding. I mean, those ties were going on, and then the next day I woke up, Sand Chronicles did finally push ahead, took the lead, but then Condition Called Love and Kakariko tied for second. Ron the Peerless Beauty and Library Wars tied for third. Love That's an Understatement was right there, followed by Lovecom. Oron still just, it could not push ahead against these. It did not do nearly as well, again, as it did in earlier votes. I mean, it gained a lot more, but it still was very, very low, and Oron never made it up to the top later on to be seriously competing, because the next day, which would be day 3, again, Sand Chronicles is pulling forward, but that is when second place had a 3-way tie. It even went up to a 4-way tie where it was Condition Called Love, Ron the Peerless Beauty, Kakariko, and Library Wars. And Library Wars and Lovecom were consistently duking it out in this tie. Finally, on day 4, I reached out to some friends and I was like, look, I've had a tie and I don't know what to do. I mean, I was genuinely nervous by day 4. I was like, okay, second place the entire time, because Sand Chronicles eventually pulled ahead by quite a few votes. So I was like, okay, Sand Chronicles definitely is going to win, and had no worries there. But for second place, consistently, I mean, the entire time, there was never a moment where second place, the tie was broken and somebody pulled ahead. If it did, it was very, very brief, and then it went right back into a tiebreaker. There was one time second place tied, third place tied, and fourth place tied. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So on day 4, I shared really hard. I was pretty aggressive, and I asked some friends that morning if they would be willing to vote. And then I shared in a few Discord channels again, like, hey, would anybody just please come, just break my vote, or tie, break the tie. And it finally did. And I was like, I'm closing the form ASAP. I knew it was 2 days early, but I just was so nervous that I was gonna have to choose. And I'm like, I don't really want to do a randomizer. I want this to be fair, where people vote for it and not some randomizer is the one that's doing the vote. You know what I mean? So I was so happy. So with all of that said, I'm going to be reading for first place. I'm going to be reading Sand Chronicles. I do not have my copies yet. I do have a hold-in with the library. Very excited. I had to make sure I didn't say spoilers earlier, but I'm gonna need some tissues as reimbursement, because everybody I know that's read this has sobbed, and I'm a little nervous because my plan was to push through it, like not in a bad way, but like read it all at once. But everybody's like, you can't really do that with this series, so I don't know what to expect. In second place was Kakariko, Bed and Breakfast for Spirits. I am shocked, y'all. I am shocked that this won. I have volumes 1 through 7, I believe, on hold at my library, or volumes 1 through 8. I know the latest volume, volume 9 or volume 10, it's the only one that my library doesn't have ready. It's currently on order though, but I will be reading that, and I'm pretty excited to come back to this one because my husband watched the anime and really, really enjoyed the first season. I feel like I tried the manga a long time ago and I couldn't connect with it. I think I mentioned that too in the opening video for the Shoujo Spree, but I'm excited to come back to it though. I just never would have expected that it would have won. And third place, A Condition Called Love, which is shocking in the sense A Condition Called Love was overwhelmingly winning for the first 2 rounds, but came in third place in this third and final round. I didn't even think about getting my volumes. I have it somewhere. Oh yeah, you can't see it. It's up on this side though, but I have it. I don't know if I'm going to be reading volumes 1 through 7 or 1 through 8. It just sort of depends on how impatient I am. But I want to wait for volume 8 to review all of those, or just want to go ahead and read volumes 1 through 7, which I'm up to date with the series, at least physically. So this will be a reread for me. Very, very excited. I'm happy. I'm happy that it won. Now I remember what I said. I said Sand Chronicles would be a winner, and then one manga that hasn't an anime adaptation, and I said either Kakaryu or Condition Called Love, which both won. And the third one was Oron because it's so beloved by so many people. But yeah, going back up to the voting and whatnot, I honestly thought that Library Wars was going to tie for second place because it just kept going between second and third, just kept going and going. I guess in the end, that Library Wars and Lovecom still have a tie now, but I'm so happy just the tie broken. And look at that, Ron the Peerless Beauty, same thing. For almost the duration of the voting, I honestly thought I was going to be reading Ron the Peerless Beauty. I was already preparing to be ready to go buy the volumes that I don't have, which is like over half the series, but I was prepared for that. I know it's on K-Manga, but I didn't really want to read on K-Manga for this event because I wanted to be able to read it easily. And Love That's an Understatement, it did so well. I'm just so happy that there's people who are either interested in this series or who have read this series and love it and are pushing that agenda because yes, I have already been brainstorming that later this year at some point I need to have like a manga reviewing month of just delinquent manga because I love That's an Understatement and Glasses with a Chance of Delinquent. Both of those, I'm like, they need reviews. I need people to know about them, need people to check them out because I really want physical license announcements for both of these series. But yes, Sand Chronicles, Kakaryu, and A Condition Called Love, that is what I'm going to be reading. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Stay tuned. So next Friday, I'm going to have a reading wrap up for the month of May. And then the second Friday of June, I will be reading and I'll be reviewing one of these series. And the plan is through the month of June, I'll be reviewing them each Friday. Just gotta wait to get some of the other manga in. And I think I might start with A Condition Called Love because I really want it to be my 100th video review. And I did a let's see all the videos that I've done manga reviews for last week. So if you're curious about that, but I know the next video review I'll be doing will be a very special one, but I hope that you guys are excited for what is won. I'll have like a wrap up for this entire event, hopefully at the end of next month as well. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had so much fun and hopefully I explained everything well. Stay tuned for my reviews of these series to come up. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!